seems to be some good news because we are being told by NHK, which is one of the news services in Japan, that all passengers appear to have survived this aircraft collision at the Tokyo Airport. When we saw the visuals, Group Captain, the doors and all didn't seem to be open. It didn't seem like any evacuation process had taken place. At least the doors were shut. Those slides were not visible, etc. But what we do know from one of the services in Japan is that the passengers, the crew have survived this collision. So they must have been able to get out very quickly.
That's exactly what we were discussing, remember, just a couple of seconds ago. And it was an Airbus A350. An Airbus A350, an Airbus aeroplane per se is very, very safe aeroplane. In fact, the fuel tank has something called fire inerting facility, in the sense the empty area of the fuel tank is devoid of oxygen. So the flame propagation in an Airbus A350 is much slower, and the temperature rise is much even. And that is enough time for the slides to deploy. And let me tell you, the crew are extremely well trained. I must tell all the viewers and you that every 6 months, the cabin crew undergo a refresher training where they go and practice this drill again and again. And, if you wake up a crew, you ask any crew, Indigo crew or any crew, at night in sleep also they'll be able to tell you exactly what to do. So that is the kind of training, that is the kind of muscle memory the cabin crew have. If you tell them evacuate, and that when you press that button to the time the first passenger is out is less than 60 seconds. So they have really, really good crew nowadays that we have, young boys and girls.
Right.
Kudos to them that today, we have so many passengers saved and not one life.
Yes.
Which while talking to you, with fingers crossed, I was talking to you and you gave me a good news, and thank you for that.
Yes, we hope that, of course, we can get more confirmations on that. But let's just talk about this collision also. How rare is it for two planes to collide like this, two aircrafts to collide like this on a runway?
See, there is a wonderful term in Japanese called harakiri, and I want to use that term here. See, when we drive on the road today, nobody, not even Uber guy or anybody or an auto rickshaw guy, they use something called Google Maps, isn't it? But you'll not believe it. We don't use any kind of mapping devices on the aeroplane to show the aeroplane where they are with respect to the runway. Which is why we have cases. While talking to me, you can tell your team to pull out the data. There's something called taxi incursion and there's something called runway incursion. It is pretty normal even today with so much of technology for aeroplanes to mistake certain taxiways. Suppose taxiways are numbered or alphabetical numbers are given. I'm sure you must have looked through the window and it is written A, B, C, D. So if you're told to go in taxiway A and someone goes into B, and if the visibility is bad, or if that's the other guy coming out is in a hurry, which seems to be the case because of tsunami and stuff, where the Coast Guard aeroplane may have been coming out in a hurry, and this aeroplane enters a wrong taxiway, then you have collision. There have been cases where large aeroplanes have run over small aeroplanes, and this was an Air Canada flight 759. So Air Canada, the Airbus 350, probably going off in a hurry, or the other fellow coming off in a hurry. You don't know what really happened. But taxi and runway incursion, with today's technology, is possible to stop. Only thing is, ICAO needs to take out some procedure, ASAP, or give some technological, assistance to the pilot in the cockpit. Lot of technology is there. The time will be too short for us to discuss the technology that is available today.
Right. Well, certainly something to look into, in Japan especially going through a lot right now, and then this is adding more on top of it. But the good news seems to be that all passengers, crew are safe as we speak. I do thank Group Captain MJ Augustine for joining us. I want to quickly go back across to my colleague Abhishek as well. Abhishek, any more updates that you're getting?
Well, we know that this plane which had caught fire, and we all saw the dramatic and dangerous footages. Now the report is that though there were more than 360 people on board, none of them have died. All of them have survived. This is what the Japanese, officials are telling us. And also, probably, as the captain was explaining a few seconds ago, that the fire engines are always on an alert mode. So the moment they may have seen those fire incident happening, they all may have rushed full speed, and probably before the entire, hard body would have melted, the fire engine may have started working, and the fire may have come under control, and that has probably saved those passengers. But it was a major tragedy. We are still not sure if all of them have come out safely. The case of incident, how it actually happened, is still not clear. But some of the theories, some of the official spokesperson from Japan side, they have said that probably a Japanese Coast Guard plane had, collided with this Japanese aircraft carrier, which was coming on runway. It had landed safely, and it was taxiing or probably moving towards its own bay area when this collision happened, and it was in a few seconds flash. It was a huge fireball that engulfed this passenger plane, and it looked like it was a major tragedy happening, but then it is being told that all the passengers have survived. How many of them? We are still not sure. More update on this entire issue we are expecting from the Japanese officials in some times now.
Right. So the flames definitely latching on to the plane very quickly, even though fire services had begun work, and of course they were trying to douse the fire. But one can see in some images that are coming to us that the entire plane effectively caught fire and was being reduced to a skeleton, really. But the good news is that the passengers seem to have been evacuated. We don't quite have visuals of that, but there is a visual that is showing the moment of collision. So it shows that two bodies collided, and there was a ball of fire in one spot, while the plane that was possibly landing just now carrying forward with fire on it as well. Those are the visuals on the right of your screen. So it seems like two aircrafts colliding. The Coast Guard has suggested it could be one of their aircrafts. Remember, Japan has had, of course, a high magnitude earthquake. There have been tsunami warnings. There's been some destruction, about 30 people dead as well because of those earthquake related incidents. And a lot of activity must be going on in Tokyo and other regions, especially with the Coast Guard activities and other rescue and relief operations. And it seems like something has gone amiss in all of that hectic activity taking place in Japan. So this is a JAL flight 516. We are being told that landed at the Tokyo airport, the Haneda airport, and collided with a Japanese Coast Guard aircraft, and then caught on fire. It's certainly the Coast Guard aircraft would have also caught fire. Unsure what was in it and who was in it. But it seems like as many as 360 people in all were there, at least on this plane, including the crew possibly, and they have been evacuated. That is what NHK is telling us. NHK is the Japanese news service. There will, of course, Abhishek, I just want to come back across to you just for, for the benefit of our viewers, the troubles that Japan has been facing over the last couple of days, and then this only adding to that.
Of course, it's an awful start for the people in Japan. 2 consecutive days, they have 2 major tragedies. One was 7.5 magnitude, killing more than 40 people, and demolishing hundreds of buildings across Japan. Second day, it has just begun, and we are witnessing another tragedy of 2 planes colliding. Nobody was talking about the Coast Guard plane, which has actually collided with this passenger plane. I'm sure the crew members in that plane may have also, got injured, or some casualty may have happened. The kind of footages that are emerging for that passenger plane, JL 516, with almost 360 people on board, it does suggest some massive fire. We are seeing dozens of fire tenders, attempting to douse the flame immediately as it was still burning. And probably officials are telling us that no passenger has died. All of them have survived. So it is the good news, but it doesn't look like people have come out unscathingly. They may have had, some of them may have clearly serious injuries. What kind of injuries and how many of them have actually survived, without any injury, we'll have to wait for more information. But it was a rare incident that has happened, that a plane with 367 passengers landed on the runways safely, and it was moving